Justin and Megan Musser were picked up by police in Jasper County, South Carolina. Neighbors were actually surprised at how far the couple got because they didn't initially drive themselves.
He was an old guy. He was hard of hearing.
On the corner of 13th and Dale in Roanoke is an empty house, but it didn't used to be. 80-year-old Harold Markham lived there for more than a decade.
He fed my dogs. I washed his clothes, fixed him dinner.
Just months ago, Justin and Megan Musser moved in too.
They would get out, they would just argue at all times during the night. They would, sometimes they would try to start like actual fist fights.
But they otherwise got along with Markham, or so neighbors thought.
Most of the stuff in his yard belonged to Harold.
Donnie Duncan says he was over at the house late Tuesday night and overheard a fight breaking out over Markham's car.
Got up and came over here, got my mom, told her to call the cops.
Early Wednesday morning, police arrived and found Markham barely responsive.
This is the first murder I've ever seen in my whole life, right in front of my face.
Markham was taken to the hospital and died.
I mean, he was a nice old man. He really was.
Stephen Caldwell says he got a phone call from the Mussers Wednesday morning asking for a ride to the truck stop.
I was like, why? They go, we just do. They was talking about cutting her hair and dyeing it and changing their last names and everything. It didn't dawn on me until about halfway back of what happened, and that's when I called Crime Line.
I would never expect them to hurt him because he was such a nice guy.
Now, the U.S. Marshal's Office was involved in the search for the couple. The Mussers are each charged with one count of murder in the death of 80-year-old Harold Markham. In the studio, Carson Krislov, News 7. On a morning and at a time when most people are asleep,
it really could have been a serious situation.
Briar Lee Court's apartments tenants and their neighbors were up by 4:30 Saturday morning.
And we saw the flames actually come through the roof of the home across the street over there.
The Hillsville Volunteer Fire Department was called to the North Main Street apartment complex. Due to the cold, crews tell us that they had more than a fire on their hands. Hose lines were freezing mid-spray. Needing backup, they were joined by rescue squads from Carroll County, Galax, and Laurel Fork.
They were calming people down. They were loading them in the ambulance 4 at a time and moving them to a safe place.
Stephen Randall is more than a neighbor. His aunt lives in the complex.
Of course, everyone's concerned about their friends and, everybody else in the home. And
displaced tenants were transported to the VFW where the American Red Cross set up a shelter.
We had a call this morning about 7:15 from social service. Requesting to see if we still have some jackets left over from the Carroll Christmas Fund.
The community pitched in to help. Local restaurants donated food. The Carroll County School Board provided school buses for emergency heat, all at a time when most people would still be asleep.
But they just had their efforts so well coordinated. It was a well executed thing.
By noon Saturday, the Red Cross had closed the shelter because all of the tenants had found temporary housing. Now the fire is still under investigation. In the newsroom, Carson Krislov, News 7. Through the Blankmeyer family's window, it's crystal clear, but they heard it first.
Almost a sound like static sound, and we all ran to the window
to see what's left of the Blacksburg High School gymnasium.
We looked out the windows and all you could see was a huge brown dust cloud.
It's been a pile of cement and cinder blocks since Saturday afternoon, but the gym held about 1,000 Friday night when the boys' basketball team played against one of its biggest rivals.
The timing was just better now than I guess the night before.
Blacksburg police say no one was hurt, but for students who currently attend the high school,
I saw pictures of it and then I was just like, wow.
A big part of their world is gone. Clearly, arrangements will have to be made for those teams scheduled to play in this gym, but the collapse affects the entire student body and the faculty because there is concern about the condition of the entire building.
At this time, the building is closed. It will stay closed until such time as it can be deemed safe for use.
Montgomery County Schools Superintendent Walt Shannon says he was called just minutes after the roof fell.
We had no indication that anything like this was going to happen.
Still shaken himself, he says the 1,200 students and several hundred faculty members are his priority, but getting back to order, that will take time.
Obviously, they can't go back to school until the whole place is deemed safe. I wouldn't feel comfortable sending my child back to school.
But no matter what, the plan is to somehow hold strong and move forward.
I think the big concern is what happens now. And where do we go? Where do we have classes?
a question school administrators are having meetings about and hope to provide answers to this week. CARSON KRISLOV, News 7, Blacksburg. Interior detailing here. This is probably not what they meant.
Then all of a sudden it just looked like a movie.
Brandy Kulo, the owner of Beauty Bar, said that just before 10 o'clock Saturday morning, she and her employees were working with clients when...
I was like, I didn't know what the heck was happening. I just saw the roof coming in and then I just went running for it.
Our units arrived here at Beauty Bar Nails and Hair and found an SUV totally inside the building.
Investigators say a car wash employee drove a freshly cleaned Ford Explorer out of the car wash and into the beauty salon, which now clearly needs more than a makeover.
We don't have no more nail tables, we don't have no more reception desks, the wall's gone, I mean the TV's gone, everything's gone.
Also inside, 6 employees, 6 patrons, and 4 children. All are okay, but the shock is still very much alive.
And all we could do was hug each other and tell each other how much we loved each other.
The Roanoke County Fire Department won't let us get any closer than the doorway, but as you can see, there's where the hair is done, that's where the receptionist desk was, and that's where the nails are done.
Everybody that would have been over there doing their nails, it's like, you know, somebody was truly watching out for us because there could have been deaths.
As far as the cause of the accident, that's still under investigation by the police department.
The owner of the car says she's not upset. The managers of the car wash say they're glad everyone's okay.
Now I don't know how we're going to feel when we go back into the building.
In less than 2 hours, the car wash was back up and running, but it's clear Beauty Bar is going to need a little more than just some touch-up paint. CARSON KRISLOV, News 7, Roanoke County.
News 7's CARSON KRISLOV takes us to the drill field tonight where candles lit up the sky.
On the Virginia Tech drill field, the Hokie Nation gathered for a night of remembrance and hope.
We come together in this twilight time to remember those we so tragically lost.
Once you step in and you see all the people with the candles, you get a very heartful, warming feeling, and you know, you just all of us together.
It's a sad feeling, but it really does feel good to know that we have such a strong community.
I wasn't here, but I don't think that matters. I'm a Hokie.
You really feel like you are where you're supposed to be, and you are a Hokie no matter like if you go to the school or if not.
They shall always remain part of the Virginia Tech family.
On this 3rd anniversary of that fateful day, it's clear the Hokie Nation is on its way to healing. CARSON KRISLOV, News 7, Blacksburg.
News 7's CARSON KRISLOV explains how and why not everyone is on board.
You've got to stop right there if you're in a canoe.
That's the dam that will disappear from the Pig River.
We had a lot of complex aspects to the decision.
Rocky Mount Town Manager James Irvin says the idea to remove the dam began churning 6 months back. But as of last Wednesday, the town council voted a solid approval.
The town's promised $30,000 towards the work. We expect the total work to be in the neighborhood of $100,000.
For the price, Irvin says it's a win-win-win.
So the first win is safety. By removing the dam, we're going to have a safe environment.
In the past couple years, a handful of people in the area have drowned in Lowhead Dam hydraulics, including one in Lexington, Franklin County, and most recently Danville.
This is where the Roanoke log perch lives. By removing the dam, we're going to stretch their habitat.
Because the fish is on the endangered species list, town council will be working with Game and Inland Fisheries to move the dam without damaging the habitat.
The third win is simply going to be, by working with them, we're still going to preserve the scenic beauty of this place in the park.
I'm a sportsman myself. I agree with that. But right now, as hard as times is...
Jeff Meek says he believes the money isn't washing up in the right places.
I'm not saying not do it, but right now, can we put this money on the back burner?
He says he realizes that the core issue is safety. But
there could be cheaper and better ways to do that. Why not put up a chain barrier?
There's no official date set for the removal of the dam, but we're told that it could happen as early as late summer, early fall. In Rocky Mount, CARSON KRISLOV, News 7.